In a moment so volatile, so damaging, so legally dangerous, that TLC had no choice but to step in, call the lawyers, invoke emergency clauses, and confiscate the footage before it saw daylight. And the rumors? Oh, they're darker than anything we've covered before. Deep web threads. Former production assistants from the Vegas era. Camera operators who quietly disappeared after season 9. They all whisper the same thing. This wasn't a disagreement. This wasn't a heated debate. This wasn't a Brown family moment. This was a fight. A real one. Not verbal. Not emotional. A physical altercation. The kind that shifts power, rewrites hierarchy, and permanently redraws the lines of a family dynasty. And, according to those insiders, it happened between the one son Kody could never control and the one father Logan stopped respecting the moment the cameras cut. The theory we're diving into today is simple, but absolutely chilling. Logan Brown didn't just move out to start his college life. Logan Brown was evacuated. Before we rip open this redacted file and expose the secret history buried deep inside that Las Vegas cul-de-sac, hit that like button, subscribe to SisterWives crew, and turn on those notifications. We are the only channel willing to sift through deleted footage, leaked production notes, and buried audio logs to uncover what TLC has spent years trying to erase. Now, let's get into the investigation. To understand the blackout, you first have to understand the emotional pressure cooker that was the Brown household during the early Vegas years. Because at the center of that heat were two figures locked in a silent Cold War, Kody Brown and his eldest son, Logan Brown. On the surface, the show always portrayed Logan as the responsible one, the dutiful surrogate father who made breakfast, woke up the kids, packed lunches, and got everyone to school. All while Kody was rotating homes, or more accurately, spending his mornings at Robin's house. But when you go back and actually study the footage, the truth starts to surface. Watch Kody's body language whenever Logan enters a room in those early seasons. There's no fatherly pride. There's no warmth. What you see is the posture of an alpha male sizing up a threat. A man who lives off chaos, noticing someone who brings order, and feeling the ground shift under his feet. Because Kody thrives in instability. He is the center of every emotional storm. His power comes from confusion. But Logan? Logan was calm. Logan was focused. Logan was order. And in a narcissistic family system, the one who brings order becomes the most dangerous threat to the one who creates chaos. We've analyzed hours of B-roll, background audio, off-camera whispering, and production notes leading up to Logan's departure for UNLV. The official narrative says Logan simply wanted the full college experience. Sounds harmless. But does it make sense? Logan was one of the most heavily parentified children ever seen on reality television. He was emotionally fused to his siblings, especially Janelle's and Christine's kids. For someone so deeply connected to suddenly sever that bond, move out, set a hard boundary, and then almost disappear from filming, that doesn't point to preference. That points to trauma. Based on our analysis, tension began to spike roughly 3 months before his move. There are tiny, easily overlooked clips where Kody makes a sarcastic jab at Logan, and Logan's reaction is alarming. Not a smile, not a fake laugh. Just a stare. A cold, unwavering stare that silently says, "I see you." And then there's the smoking gun, a deleted scene referenced only in old leaked production logs. A scene the public never saw. A moment the editors erased. The log line was only 1 sentence long. Kody and Logan discuss budget, conversation heated, audio unusable.
Audio unusable.
In production language, that means yelling chaos or something far worse. On reality TV sets, that phrase is almost never about malfunctioning equipment. Inside the industry, audio unusable is code for something far more dangerous. What was said was legally explosive. Or worse, someone broke the fourth wall. And we believe that moment was the spark. The beginning of the end. According to the emerging theory, Kody had begun quietly diverting financial resources away from Janelle's household. And because Logan was effectively running Janelle's entire home, managing kids, schedules, meals, budgets, he didn't confront Kody as a child. He confronted him as the man of the house demanding accountability. Now imagine Kody Brown, a man who expects total loyalty, total submission, total emotional obedience, being told no. Not by a wife, not by a producer, but by his own son. Told no on camera, told no in front of the crew, told no with witnesses. This was the fracture point. Now we enter the missing 72 hours, the darkest gap in SisterWives production history. Typically, the show films 6 days a week, especially during high-conflict periods. But the week Logan moved his boxes out, the production logs go silent. 3 days.
No confessionals.
No B-roll.
No interviews.
Just darkness. When the cameras finally came back on, everything had changed. Janelle looked shockstruck, eyes wide, voice muted, posture tense. Kody looked manic, eyes darting, speech rapid, aggressively trying to control the narrative like he was rewriting the past in real time. And Logan had the hollow stare of someone who had seen the battlefield and already planned his exit. He didn't look like he was leaving for college. He looked like he was airlifted out. So let's reconstruct the timeline using insider accounts, leaked logs, and visual clues. It's Friday night. Filming is wrapped, but the crew is still packing gear. Kody shows up at Janelle's home. The tension has been simmering for weeks. Maybe it began with a comment about Janelle's weight. Maybe her spending. Maybe her parenting. These are all known triggers. But this time Logan is there. And Logan is no longer the quiet teenager overshadowed by Kody's theatrics. He is bigger,
Smarter.
older, and fueled by years of watching his mother be sidelined and dismissed. The theory says Kody started to assert dominance, maybe yelling, maybe stepping too close, maybe invading Janelle's space in a way that felt threatening. And then it happened. The moment that changed the show forever. Logan stepped between them. Inside Brown family lore, you do not defy Kody. You do not challenge him. You do not physically block him. But insider accounts claim Logan planted himself like a wall. A human shield. And Kody, outraged, provoked, humiliated by his own son, escalated. This brings us to the bandage theory. The discoloration on Logan's hand. The puffiness around Kody's eyes. The shaking energy of the interviews filmed days later. Did someone punch a wall? Was there a shove? Did something break? Glass, furniture, a decades-old hierarchy? We've seen Kody's rage in recent seasons, the screaming during the kidney speech, the explosion at Janelle during COVID arguments. Now, imagine that same rage. 10 years younger, 20 pounds stronger, and aimed at a son who refused to back down. This is where the police angle crashes into the story, like a spotlight through a blackout. There is no public police report. We checked the Las Vegas Municipal Archives, combed through disturbance logs, cross-referenced the dates. Nothing under Kody Brown. Nothing under Logan Brown. But here's what people don't understand. A missing report does not mean the police weren't there. In wealthy neighborhoods, in gated communities, and especially when minor reality TV celebrities are involved, police frequently handle disturbances quietly. They show up, separate the parties, calm everyone down, and leave without filing charges because the narrative is resolved on scene. And the Vegas cul-de-sac? Those houses echoed like microphones. If someone screamed, everyone heard it. So imagine this. Blue and red lights flashing against the beige stucco walls. Squad cars parked crooked. Producers sprinting out of Janelle's doorway in flip-flops, waving their hands, begging the officers. Please, not on camera. Because one arrest, one allegation of domestic violence on a family values reality show, and the entire franchise collapses overnight. If the police walked into that house, this is how it likely went down. Kody in one room, panting, sweaty, frantic, shifting blame, painting himself as the misunderstood patriarch under attack. Logan in another, calm, controlled, maybe holding an ice pack to a swollen knuckle, checking on Janelle, grounding her while she shakes with adrenaline. And it is right here in the middle of that living room with officers standing between. It looks like the embrace of two men sealing a secret. Two men who know what really happened during the blackout. Now go back and rewatch the moving day footage. It feels scripted, stiff, Empty. That's because, according to this theory, it was. The real evacuation happened during the blackout, late that night or early the next morning, when Logan was quietly removed for his own safety and the situation was de-escalated before the media or neighbors could report it. The scenes shown 3 days later?
Pickup shots.
Performed after the swelling went down, after NDAs were signed, after the narrative was sanitized into a wholesome college send-off. But the cracks in the cover-up show in the aftermath. Watch Janelle. She becomes colder toward Kody, withdrawn, strategic. Her focus shifts entirely to her kids. Her patience with Kody's theatrics evaporates overnight.
That isn't a storyline.
That is a woman recovering from a crisis we were never shown. This, right here, was the moment her quiet quitting began. Not with a speech, not with a fight, but with a look, a mother watching her own son physically step between her and the man she once believed would protect their family. That is a bell you cannot unring. Once it tolls, the spell breaks. The illusion shatters. And Janelle knew, in that instant, that something inside her had permanently died. Meanwhile, Kody began his descent into the furious, brittle patriarch we see today.
Why?
Because his authority had finally been challenged and defeated. Not by another man his age, not by a rival husband, but by the next generation's alpha, the son who surpassed him. And Kody felt the humiliation burn. He couldn't punish Logan. Logan was out of reach, too old, too independent, too protected by the nuclear secret of that weekend. A mutually assured destruction pact sealed in silence. So Kody turned inward and downward, unleashing his frustration on the wives who remained tethered to him and on the children still living under his roof. The house became a pressure cooker. Every room thick with unspoken tension. This blackout theory explains something else too, something fans have whispered about for years. Logan's near disappearance from the show. Yes, he shows up at weddings. Yes, he appears in scattered background shots. But he never takes the couch, never joins the drama, never opens the door to his storyline. He is a ghost haunting the edges of production, visible but untouchable. This isn't privacy. This is a boundary carved in stone. The deal was simple. He keeps the secret. And in return, Kody, and more importantly, TLC, leave him alone. A Cold War standoff in a family wrapped in cameras. And then we must ask the question no one wants to ask. What about the deleted footage? Where is it? Reality TV produces petabytes of raw footage. Every second logged, tagged, archived. Files don't just disappear. Hard drives don't just accidentally wipe. Not without intent. Which leads to the most chilling theory. The raw tapes from those 72 hours are not gone. They are locked away, physically, inside a legal office in Los Angeles. A metal safe. A label reading, "Do not open." An insurance policy. If Logan ever writes a tell-all, Kody or the network can threaten exposure. But if Kody ever crosses the line again, if he truly endangers the remaining kids, Logan holds the trump card. He knows what's on that tape. He knows what happened in that blackout window. He knows the truth that could end Kody's public life in a single afternoon. Now look at the timeline of the family's collapse. It didn't begin in Flagstaff. It didn't begin with the catfishing scandal. It started in Las Vegas, before the move, when the illusion of the perfect plural family was shattered by a son who refused to be a prop for his father's storyline. Vegas was supposed to be a reset. Instead, it became the fracture point, the quiet start of the end. And the catalyst was an incident so severe that producers were forced into a 72-hour blackout to keep the story from detonating. Now let's dig into the police angle, because this is where the insider reports start becoming disturbingly specific. There is rumored to be a dispatch log from that night showing a domestic disturbance call on the Browns block. But the address is misattributed to a neighbor. This is a classic move when high-profile families are involved. Obfuscation. Blur the record. Protect the brand. Some insiders believe Kody, in a swirl of mania and rage, may have threatened to call the police on Logan, accusing him of assault or disrespect, attempting to flip the script, only to realize that the optics would destroy him. Imagine the level of narcissism required to call law enforcement on your own son for defending his mother. But that was Kody's mindset. Cornered, furious, desperate to maintain control. And then there are the wives. Where were Christine and Mary during the blackout? The theory says Christine was the one who sheltered Logan immediately after the incident. Their bond was real, stronger than most viewers realized. If Logan needed to be evacuated from Janelle's home to calm the situation, he didn't go to a hotel. He went to Christine's house. This explains the lifelong loyalty between Christine and Janelle's children. They are trauma bonded. They share the memory of that weekend. Mary, however, was likely given a sanitized version, if she was told anything at all. This was the era when she still clung to the title of head wife, desperately loyal to Kody. If she ever learned the truth, she buried it deep. But Christine? Christine saw the bruise. Christine saw the fear. And then he starts seeing rebellion everywhere. Every slight, every hesitary's tension. And when Logan visits, the air changes. Kody puffs up, his voice rises. He tries to dominate. But Logan?
Calm.
Smiling. That knowing smile.
He knows he won.
He is the only one who ever truly defeated the patriarch. Now consider the fixers. TLC is not a small production company. They have massive crisis management teams. During the blackout, it wasn't just the cameras that were stopped. Phones likely went dark. Social media silenced. Every family member was likely put on communication lockdown.
No tweets.
No Facebook posts. No unsupervised calls. Stories had to be synchronized. A reality had to be built. Logan is just busy with school. The fight never happened. And fear was the glue holding it together. What was the threat? Cancellation. Financial ruin. Possibly even the involvement of state authorities if domestic violence were revealed. A powerful silencer, enough to keep even the wives in line. Then there's the wall. In the episode immediately after the blackout window, a camera pans down Janelle's hallway. Pause the frame for a split second, and you see it, a difference in paint texture. A patch job, hasty, obvious if you look closely. In a pristine Las Vegas build, drywall does not get patched at shoulder height unless someone punched it, or someone was shoved into it. That patch is the physical evidence of the violence TLC erased. A silent witness. They could scrub digital footage, but they couldn't undo the wall. So they slapped on some spackle and hoped viewers would be distracted by manufactured storylines, never noticing the truth hiding in plain sight. We noticed. And once you notice that patch on the wall, everything about the move-out footage changes. Every frame becomes evidence. Every carefully placed box, every oddly chosen angle, every body strategically blocking that tiny stretch of hallway, it all snaps into place. They weren't filming a family transition. They were filming around a crime scene and trying to pass it off as reality TV. And that brings us to the most dangerous variable in the entire blackout, Robin. Where was the favorite wife during those missing 72 hours? Insider accounts, whispers from former crew members and assistants, suggest that while Janelle was frozen in shock and Christine was locked in protect mode, Robin was the first to reach for the phone. The narrative goes that she wasn't panicking. She was strategizing. She saw the fight not as a tragedy, but as an opening. By inserting herself as the mediator, the one soothing Kody, the one guiding him through the chaos, she didn't just calm him. She captured him. She supposedly fed him the idea that Logan was dangerous, that Janelle's boys were volatile, that the family needed tighter rules, more structure, more control. This moment became the seed of Flagstaff's protocols, the seed of the boys' eventual exile, the seed of the split we watched unfold years later. Robin saw something terrifying during that fight, Logan standing up to Kody and winning. She realized that as long as Janelle's sons were around, Kody's ego, and her influence, would always have a ceiling. So the Whisper campaign began. The blackout wasn't just a cover-up. It was a coup. The moment power shifted from a plural family to the Kody and Robin monarchy. Now, let's reconstruct the deleted footage, the tape that supposedly never existed, yet every insider describes the same way. Picture it, a shaky handheld camera. A cameraman unspeaking, redlining with shouting. Kody's face twisted, pure ego and meltdown. Logan standing firm, voice trembling but unbroken, speaking the one sentence no one in that house had ever dared to say, "You are hurting her." Scuffle. A body slams into the hallway wall, the same wall that would later be buried, but never truly gone. The blackout proves the show was a curated illusion designed to protect a narcissist and a network's profit margin. And in that erased moment, one person was the turning point, Logan Brown. The hero not because of what he did on camera, but because of what he did when the cameras dropped, defending his mother, taking the blow, absorbing the rage, and walking away without burning everything down. He simply refused to live in the lie anymore. And his brothers followed. We will never see the footage. It's either deleted, locked in a vault, or erased by lawyers. But we don't need the tape. We saw the patch on the wall. We saw the fear in Janelle's eyes. We saw the stiff laundry scenes. We saw the destruction of Kody's empire. The blackout failed. The truth leaked out, in glitches, in edits, in whispers, in silences. And now we know. If you believe the tapes existed, if you believe Logan was the unsung hero, share this, blast it, tag TLC, demand the uncut truth. Because the real show, it starts when the cameras turn off.
Stay tuned.
Stay curious. See you in the next investigation.